What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Guitar Corner. Hope you're having a good new year. As you can see, I still have not taken up my Christmas stuff. I'm one of those people that I kind of recap the last year and I say I'm gonna build 50 buildings and jump over them like Superman. I'm gonna write 100 songs, and then about day 4 or 5 of the year, I'm like, I need 2 cans of Pringles and I want to watch Flight by Denzel Washington, which I did yesterday. It's fantastic. But it's going good. I'm getting some tunes written. The studio's rocking and rolling. I came across something this week that I wanted to show you. So last week, we've been doing a lot of stuff in G minor. And when I go to the 5 chord, a lot of times I go to that Hendrix chord I showed you. A lot of you already know it. G5 or D, flat 5 sharp 9. Take that same shape. This is like that meme that talks about funky jazz chords. Take that same shape and go right here. Move up to the F sharp and just go. And then resolve with 1s and 3s. I'm gonna build a little loop. It's probably gonna sound like, what is it? Da 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 da. Love gun. I'm gonna go. Just 1 and 5 to D, D and G. Jam along with me. We get some triplets happening. I'm gonna make the loop 2, 3, 4. Let's add a little sauce to that loop. Here we go. I'm gonna go. One, two, let it go. Now I'm gonna show you what that chord sounds like through the spooky vibrato magic. We'll build a little world. 1, 2, back the tone off. 2, 3, 4. Here's the same thing, an octave higher. Turn on the pog. One more time with tremolo. Let's do some 5s. We got. Let that 5 cross over the bar. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. It's a good mellow one. Ghosties, scary little ghosties. Turn off all this junk. I got too many weird things running off these lines. I need to get into my studio line where it's quiet down a little. But I like the hum of an amp. You know something's happening. Something's in the room with you. It's going to get, what's the movie? It's going to get loud. That's a great movie. It might get loud. I think it might get loud. It's 3 generations of guitar players. Jimmy Page, Jack White, The Edge, and man, really, really cool guitar movie for you guitar players out there. So what I want to talk about real quick today is, first of all, my man Jeff Anderson has this great quote that would have applied to last week's little hang together. He says, "Tights tight, too tights busted." There it is, letting it come to us, not overdoing it. I had that quote that last time, comparison is the thief of joy. I think it's about kind of staying in our own lane and just doing the work. Like the joy you get from getting a little bit better, each time, instead of saying, "Oh, I got to get from here to here." That's where I get in trouble, is just, "Oh, I have to have all these things. I have to accomplish all these things today," instead of enjoying the process. The thing that I thought about after last week was, when I keep saying do the work, like it's never that simple. How do you stay inspired? How are you in a place where you can be open enough, feel good enough about yourself to want to keep on striving, to keep on, making those little changes that add up over time? And what I thought of was kind of a guy who saved my life when I was little, man. My next door neighbor, Sean Belford, and he comes up a lot when I'm talking about my childhood, because my pops wasn't around. My mama was going through some things. She was, going through some extreme depression. And there were just kind of days, man, where my house was real quiet. There was nothing going on. And there was just, my man kind of knew there was trouble. And he would come over and he would grab me. And we would just go to the dollar movies or do whatever's hanging. Now, he was probably just a few years older than me. But when you're like, 12 years old, 13, somebody who's 19 is, they're adults. So it was really cool of him to kind of watch out for the neighborhood. And he said something to me once that stuck with me. It's a simple quote. A lot of these things that sound like fortune cookie wisdom, if you think about them, they're actually just as heavy as anything in the world. He said, "Hard work takes care of you." And I try to think of that when I'm in a jam, when something's not working out, when I want to give up. And I think it's the Daniel Lanois quote, the short road will make you bleed. The long road will make you sweat. The short road will make you bleed. So it's just be the turtle, man. Just keep doing the work. And that hard work takes care of you reminds me of, all the times I was recording stuff and nobody was hearing it. I couldn't get it out there. I couldn't afford a press. I couldn't blah, 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 blah. All those songs from back in the day that I worked on, it took a long time, but now some of those things are getting into film and TV. I learned a lot of lessons off of those things, even the ones that are just absolute turds. They, like Stephen King says, you can learn as much from a bad book as you can a good book, because you can learn what you're not supposed to do. All those hours, even playing in genres that really didn't fit where I wanted, what was my heart. I learned some jazz in high school. There's a lot of things that I don't really play those things now, but I learned something from all of them. So all that hard work was eventually, paying off. And so that's what I would say is, if you're putting in the hours, you got the metronome set up, you're running the scales, or you're running the chords, or you're just playing along with stuff, having fun, maybe you're still new to it, you're just building your calluses. Every one of those hours, you may not feel it then, but eventually those hours pay off in different ways. And just try to be, I'm saying this to myself more than anybody else out there, try to be, enjoy that moment when you get a little bit further, because that little bit of progress is really, sometimes that's all we have. And there's nothing wrong with that. One more Stephen King thing. I need to do one of these episodes on a book called On Writing, because it's all in there, man. And I don't think you can give somebody a book on how to write. I don't talk about songwriting a lot, because I think it's a really special, sacred thing, and you really can't teach someone how to write a song. You can do the work, you can read, you can write, you can fill the well, you can try to get your life in a good place where you can do the work every morning. But as far as where the songs come from, I don't think any of us know. But Stephen King talks about the muse and just being in a place to receive and going to work every morning. He says, he goes, it's not this elusive, magical thing. He goes, I'm like a plumber, man. I just go to work. And that reminds me of the hard work takes care of you too, because, if you're not showing up, you can't expect any results. If you're not, I say a place to receive, that sounds kind of foo-foo and metaphysical and new agey, but it really is that. Even if you feel like you didn't get anything done that morning, you practiced guitar or tried to write a song or did whatever you needed to do, to work at your craft, whatever instrument you might play, whatever you're into. Hopefully we got some folks that aren't, guitar players watching this, because this really is about, art and the love of music and the soul, and hopefully, some things bigger than just the 6 strings. Now, not that that's not enough, so 6 strings changed my life, but yeah, showing up every day is a really big deal. Number one bookkeeper, man. If you stick with it, different people are going to fade away. They're going to make mistakes. If you're in for the long game, the long road makes you sweat, the short road makes you bleed. If you're in for the long road, there will be results. So let's do one of these almost under 10 minutes. I almost made it. I'm going to sign off. I'll be back next week. I'm reading this book on Tom Petty, Conversations with Tom Petty, and I'm getting pretty obsessed with Tom Petty. So I bet next week's going to be all about the genius of Tom Petty. So get ready, you fine people. Quickly. Okay, we are over 10 minutes. Forget it. Show and tell. Here's what I got this week. I was moving some stuff around down here. I found one of my old tour books. It was a tour record we had called Soldier Making. And the reason I'm showing you this is I don't even remember this. I used to glue this lyrics in, the songs I was working on, for no good reason other than it just made me feel like the work was getting done. It was just like probably a pillar I'm hiding behind to feel special. But I would kind of change these things around and anyway, I remember thinking like, why am I printing these out? Either work on a computer or write them in a journal. And look what I found. I bought this book. Nick Cave's a brilliant lyricist. He also, if you want to be inspired, folks, if you want to talk about some stuff way heavier than I'm talking about today, man, Nick Cave's blog, The Red Hand Files. Thank you, Wade Hampton, for turning me on to that. It is beautiful. I don't subscribe to a lot of that stuff, but man, you subscribe to that blog. He writes once every couple of weeks. He just answers letters. Man, he talks about the heavy stuff. But in this book, he shows some of his old... Ooh, watch out, kids. That was PG-13. That's probably R-rated. He shows these different... I should have marked the page for you, but he shows how he kept his journals and all these crazy things that he did inside of his journals. And I guess what I'm getting at is a lot of the things that he was doing when he was writing were the same things that I was doing. And I think I got away from some of that because of this garbage we tell ourselves about, well, that's not the proper way to do something, or that doesn't make any sense. Just, how you doubt yourself, as opposed to going with your instincts and what makes you happy and brings you joy. Man, if you're not hurting anybody, who gives a hell how you keep your journal or what you do with your own time and your own stuff? So I guess all I'm saying is, I've had enough years. It's not like I feel like somebody has to give me permission to keep a weird journal. But it's just funny how people who we respect, when they did something we did, all of a sudden we're like, it's okay. And I guess what I'm trying to learn is, it's okay anyway. It's okay anyway. And we all do this, man. You see somebody playing something, you're like, ooh, I want to do that, or I want to buy this, or I want to have this. Actually, shout out to Falcon Morris. He did the one smart thing. He did go buy a Chet Atkins. And that has nothing to do with me. That's an incredible guitar. But I do this all the time where I'll buy pedals because somebody else is using the pedal. Man, it doesn't make my tone any better. It's still fingertips and hearts, all this stuff we talk about. Matt Wallace, fingertips and ideas. But I guess all I'm saying is you don't need permission to figure out what works for you. I need to say that to myself more often, especially if I could have told little me, man, you do not have to, never apologize for your preferences or your success. Another one, Jackie Kennedy, never complain, never explain. This is turning into the quote YouTube series. But, if it brings you joy and you're not hurting anybody and you're doing the work, go forward, 1,000%. All right, 10-4. Hope you got something out of this. See y'all soon.